Please be seated. Ka mihi nui ki a tātou katoa. In the name of the University of Otago, I, Royden Somerville, Chancellor, warmly welcome distinguished guests, members, graduates and friends of the University to this May graduation ceremony. I wish to acknowledge the Mayor of Dunedin, His Worship Aaron Hawkins, who is a proud graduate of the University. We're all very conscious of how marvellous it is to congregate in this splendid town hall after the challenges of last year when all our public graduation ceremonies were cancelled. To you who are about to graduate or to receive diplomas, thank you for choosing the University of Otago. It is Aotearoa, New Zealand's first university, with a rich history spanning over 151 years and a fine reputation as a prestigious, world-class public university. And thank you also for electing to be here in person. This allows others to share in celebrating your success, including your family and friends and academic and professional staff who have helped you during your studies. This is a transformative time for you, and your success affords us great optimism and hope for the future. I now call on Professor Broughton to give a formal Maori speech of welcome.
He aha te mea nui o te au mākua ki ake he tangata, he tangata, he tangata. What is the most important thing in the world? I will say it is people, it is people, it is people. Ti hei mauri ora, behold the breath of life. Te whare wānanga o Otago, te marae kei waho tēnā korua. To this House of Learning, the University of Otago, and the Forum of the University, greetings. I ngā mate, e runga i o tātou marae, haere koutou, haere koutou, haere koutou. We acknowledge all those who have gone before. E te rangatira o Otipoti, the late His Worship the Mayor, Mr. Dave Cull, haere, haere, haere ki te mātua i te rangi. Te hunga ora, tēnā koutou. E te kanohi o te whare wānanga o Otago, Chancellor, tēnā koe. E te Tumuaki Tuarua, Pro-Chancellor, tēnā koe. E te Tumuaki Vice-Chancellor, tēnā koe. E te rangatira o Otipoti, Your Worship the Mayor, tēnā koe. E ngā mema o te kaunihere te whare wānanga o Otago, members of the University Council, tēnā koutou. E te kai korero i tēnei rā, Professor James Hyam, tēnā koe. Greetings to you, Professor Hyam, our speaker for today. E ngā manu kuru deans, e ngā ahorangi professors, e ngā kaimahi colleagues, tēnā koutou katoa. Kei te tua hau ki te mihi whakatau ki a koutou ki te reo o mo te whare wānanga o Otago, ki te reo o ngā runanga o Ngaitahu o tēnei rohe, ko Otago, ko Huirapa, ko Moeraki. I stand to greet you today on behalf of the University of Otago with the voice of the Ngaitahu people of this place, the people of Otago, Huirapa and Moeraki. Whakatau mai, whakatau mai, whakatau mai rā. I ngā manuhiri tuarangi, ko tai mai nei ki tēnei hui whakapōtai, hara mai, no mai. And to the many visitors who have come for this graduation ceremony, welcome. Nō rei renga iwi o ngā haue whā, to those from the four winds, nō te tai Tokoro from the north, nō te tai Rāwhiti from the east, nō te tai Haura from the west, and nō te tai Tonga Hoki from here in the south, hara mai, no mai, welcome. Ngā waka o te motu, ngā whānau, ngā hapu, ngā iwi katoa, tēnā koutou. E ngā tangata katoa no te moananui a Kiwa, and to the people from across the Pacific, ta alofa lava, ma loilele, nisam bulavanaka, kia orana, I orana, aloha. I ngā whakatipuranga hau o Paitahi ka nuhunga mihi a kia koutou katoa. And to our new generation of graduates and diplomats, greetings to you. E korowai whero, and to our PhD graduates, tēnā hoki koutou. I ngā paitahi katoa, kua huhuhu mai nei, I tēnei rā mō tēnei whiwhi tohu māturanga, Te rā nui mō koutou me tō whānau hoki. So greetings to you gathered here today for this graduation, a special day for you and your families. Through your own hard work and achievements, you have created new opportunities, horizons and choices as you proceed from here to engage in your chosen career paths, vocations and professions. And to the many families and friends and neighbours who have gathered here today, you have sent your young people to us as students, whose lives are forever enriched by this truly great, this wonderful and unique experience that is forever Otago! Yes. And so today we very proudly present them back to you as graduates and diplomats of Te Whare Wānanga o Otago. Nō reira, inga mana, inga reo rauranga tira mā, tēnā koutou, kia ora tātou katoa, kia ora.
Thank you, Professor Broughton. The first verse of the New Zealand national anthem will now be sung, first in Maori and then in English. The words are printed inside the back cover of the graduation booklet. Please stand. Please be seated. By the authority of the University of Otago, I, Royden John Somerville, Chancellor, will now confer degrees and award diplomas of the University upon those declared qualified to receive them by the Vice-Chancellor, Pro-Vice-Chancellors and Deans concerned, and on those listed in the programme but not present. The Acting Vice-Chancellor.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Nicola Marie Lloyd. Karan Rawat. Pankaj Jeshwara Nan Sharma. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Doctor of Business Administration, Cherie Christine Wells.
From now on, graduands will be crossing the stage, mainly in small groups. Please delay your applause until after the last name in each group has been announced. Thank you. The Pro Vice-Chancellor, Division of Humanities.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours and the degree of Bachelor of Laws, Ilara Jane McIndoe. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Arts and the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, Chad Wata Allison, Anna Charlotte Giorgetti, Emma Rachel Holland. Daniel James Lynch, George William Morris, Tessa Cottle Reid. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Arts and for the award of the Postgraduate Diploma in Commerce, Greta Mary Lewis Morrison.
The acting Dean of the Faculty of Law.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Laws with Honours in the Bachelor of Arts, Ricky Shi-Yung Belfer, Meg Ellen Costa-Bradley, Sophia Svetanovich. Sarah Kate Dippy, Molly Rebecca Dorr, Francesca Nardine Elizabeth Dykes. Hugo James Fletcher, Erin Rose Gatenby, Erin Melissa Gurley. James William Hartshorn, Jacoby Tehingatu Kahu Morris, Luca Lucy Latika. Sarah Katie McDonnell Elmitri, Eva Grace Pearson. Antonia Post, Nerisse Arne Taylor Udi. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation the degree of Bachelor of Laws with Honours and the degree of Bachelor of Science, Hugo Jack Coleman, Sarah Elsie Gray. Bridget Mary Philomena Newman, Ismay Georgia Powell. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation the degree of Bachelor of Laws with Honours and the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, Jacob William Bird, Olivia Frances Crombie, Madeline Jane Holmes. Caitlin Ann McClintock, Rebecca Kirsty Meikle, Phoebe Robin Murray. Alicia Michelle Rusk, Henry Jeffrey Jock Sullivan. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Laws with Honours, Fraser Gray Warburton Aiken, Hannah Ishbel Patrice Atkinson, Angus James Llewellyn Gray. Georgina Daisy Joy Lomax Sawyers, Penelope Constantina Aldwin O'Brien, Emily Priscilla Meads Watt. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation the degree of Bachelor of Laws and the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Ruby Rose Adams, Caitlin Guinevere Addison, Harrison William Clutha Allen. Amira Ann Alou, Benjamin William Barry Walsh, Juliet Catherine Berg. Grace Mia Brosnahan, Keegan Jack Casey, Anna Renee Cooper. Hannah Elizabeth Copeland, Natasha Jade Cox, George Bruce Davidson. Lauren Marie Duggan, Buck Ray Finucane, Mitchell Alexander Friend. Isabella Rosa Stevenson Giltrap, Saskia Renee Graham Bone, Cameron Patrick Gray. Ashley Amber Grenfell, Guy Parry Guilford, Oliver Earl Hadfield. Isabella Faith Antonia Hawkins, Emma Grace Jackson, Monique Rose Johnson. Natisha Mary Francis Jones, Barnaby Thomas Manktello, Talina Lee Matheson Delamore. Lillian Catherine McCormick, Faye Louise Morris McIntosh, Tessa Harata McLean. Kate Elizabeth Mims, Danielle Elizabeth Mitchell, Roscoe Henry Moore. Emily Joy Morton, Hannah Emily Morgan, Samuel James Morgan. Bonita Rose Morrissey Smith, Madison Lee O'Connor, Nicholas Blake Robertson. Stephanie Ann Ross, Helena Frances Scholes, Mia Mary Mercedes Simmons Keat. Charles Ralph Slay, Sam Alistair Stewart, Taya Rhiannon Wallace. Serena Prudence Rose Waterworth, Ella Jane Welsh, Siani Lee Wilson O'Brien. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Laws and the degree of Bachelor of Theology, Michaela Shaughnessy Faith Satutu. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation the degree of Bachelor of Laws and the degree of Bachelor of Science. Olivia Nicole Louise Berger, Timothy Douglas Crampton, Kira May Dairycourt. Grace Jennifer Edmonds, Jennifer Harver Forrest, Harry Abercrombie Hanlon. Annabelle May Lee, Bridget Zana Midgley. Laura Ellery Mickelson, Grace Margaret Jean Titter. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation the degree of Bachelor of Laws and the degree of Bachelor of Commerce. George Henry Ainsworth Aiken, Leon Lawrence Arcus, Sophie Kate Ashton. Reuben George Barclay, Christopher Andrew Brockenshire, Nicholas Barry Brockenshire. Maggie Elizabeth Burns, Thomas Hudson Corley, Samuel William Chandler. Thomas Hunter Brookfield Darry, Kate Diane Margaret Driscoll, Emily Charlotte Julia Farron. Rachel Rita Grant, Alicia Emma Gard, Charlotte McLeod Hardy Boys. Edward Gilbert James Hone, Charles Alexander Mitchell Hurring, George Black Kirkwood. Harry Christopher Malcolm Leggett, Benjamin Morgan Jack McTeague, Tara Neve Minor. Corey Owen Partridge, Alicia May Ann Perkins, Thomas William Peterson. Daniel Luke Pinfold, Carlos Gordon Reed, Jonathan Matthew Jeff Riley. Charles Dinot Sladden, Elizabeth Rose Turnbull, Willem James Cornelis van der Wilt. Oscar Thomas van der Laan, Jerry Jack Zindel. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Laws, George Henry Acton-Adams, Brenna Kate Ahrens, Lucy Rachel Gwendolyn Aiken. Sophie Frances Boneo, Daniel John Bowman, Annie Elizabeth Grimes. Isaac William Hay, Liam Nelson Johnson, Naomi Halala Van Loo, Anastasia Sulala, Katrina Mary Smith, Nicholas Samuel Taylor, Matariki Priscilla Hinemaru Wehi, Kiwa Rose Kathleen Yates.
The Pro Vice Chancellor, Division of Sciences.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Science and the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, Dominic James Blake, Robert John Bradshaw, Harriet Grace Anna Clymer. Andrew John Fontaine, Rebecca Emily Pearce, Louis William Pye. Tobias Joseph Wyatt Riley, Charles William Simpson, Adam Lloyd Stahersky. Theodore Mark Baker Taylor and Elizabeth Grace Vincent.
The Pro Vice Chancellor, Division of Commerce.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Commerce and for the award of the Diploma in Language, Hannah Rosemary Fogarty. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Commerce and for the award of the Diploma for Graduates, William David Boswell, Emily Ann Patalo and Max Hunter Steele. James Paul Van Dorp and Madeline Grace Watson. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, William Donald Ackers,
Oscar Ormond Nelson Ackland and Kate Louise Aiken. Aya Saeed Salim Al-Hathi, Benjamin Mark Andrew and Luckman Kitch Archer. Kelly Taylor Baker, Jack David Beattie Barlow and Fraser Charles Bartholomew. Jaden David Beckett, George James Lawrence Blake and Renee Jean Bolin. Harry George Henty Bonifant, Harrison Charles Brown and Jordan Tyler Buck. Charles Thomas Cordwell, Harriet Beatrice Corey Wright and George William Aubrey Creswell. Meg Isabel Crowley, Joel Charles Curran and Claire Mary Davis. Kaylin Kandu Dayal, Andrew Haldane Bailey de la Tour and Samuel Robert Hamilton Dippy. Thomas Henry Dodds, Amy Carice Donaldson and Adrian Edward Ralph Dowdle. Tristan John MacLeod Dryborough, Gus Stevenson Charters Edmund and Leo James Coughlin English. Xavier Jonathan Pritchard English, Nicholas Michael Fellows and Samuel Joseph Farrell. Campbell Bennett Finley, Cecilia Christine Foster and David James French. Paige Marie Gwenda French, Katrina Ellison Gadsby and Lucy Rose Gibson. James William Gilmore, Connor George Goggin and Jack Patterson Gordon. Madeline Grant, Talia Zara Green and Nicholas Michael Kenneth Greenslade. Karina Anne-Marie Hall, Brianna Rose Hartley and Kerry Joy Haynes. Kane William Hemme, Emma Kate Henderson and Isaac Charles Orton Hobson. Katrina Renee Howe, George Alexander Hislop and Henry Russell Hislop. Ryan Warren Jackways, Jake William Jarvis and Zachary Gordon Jones. James Michael Keeling, Natalie Joy Kerrigan, and Harrison Tapley King. Georgia Renee Lambert, Thomas Finley Leggett, and Cameron Dennis Lee. Samuel John Thorpe Levine, Benjamin John Maris Livingston, and Zoe Rose Lloyd. Hamish Stephen Lowe, Brendan Simon Lund, and Alice Emma Kate Luxton. Trent Alexander MacDonald, William James McAllister, and Zane Eru McEwen King. Jack Morris McHugh, Harry Daniel Mates, and Hadley Edgar Morgan. James William Melville Nielsen, Jack Gregory Newts, and Maria Nicole Ordanya Ogarita. Samuel Hinton Perkins, Ella Rose Peterson, and Oscar Burns Pope Moody. Matthew David Price, Phoebe Grace Pye, and Tom Winiata Robertson. Kathleen Claire Rollinson, Maxwell Kevin Riley Ross, and William Robert Rutherford. Sasha Ellison Scott, Connor Joseph Shallow, and Ryan Hunter Samphia Skeen. Brianna Emily Smith, Samuel Mark Smith, and Anna Lucia Steele. Matthew Warren Summers, Rose Emily Sussex, and Harry Charles Sussex. Drew Richard Tate, Robbie Ian John Tallett, and Jared Thomas Taylor. Morgan Brian Thompson, Benjamin Christopher Rowland Thompson, and Samuel George Allen Tillman. Sam Francis Tyther, John Sebastian Dimitri Taupalman, and Hamish John Todd. Caitlin Isabel Tracy, Oliver Peter Edward Tracy, and Nico York Vanderwilt. Taylor Waddington, Barlow William Wakefield, and Sean Angus James Wakelin. Emily Rose Ward, Emily Ellen Catherine Watson, and Michael Gino Wattenell. Liam Gary Wick, Dylan Prasanna Wijasinger, and Victoria Annie Wilkinson. Gabrielle Carol Williams, Joshua John Williams, and Bryn Eric Williamson. Luke Jack Wisby, Elliot Justin Worsley, and Arsena Yildiz. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Business Administration, Beer Bent Singh Baines, Natalie Samantha Binns, and Elsbeta Buskova. Darren Alfred Bennett Brinsden, Caroline Sophie Dumas, and Rosanna Constance Feast. Jonathan Thomas Gain, Ian James Gilmore, and Frederick Johan Hatting. Tom Harlan Koika, Kelly David Manning, and Clinton Reginald Murphy. Natalie Faye Peters, Rohitesh Prasad, and Michael Robert Spalding. Elizabeth June Stobie and Mark Lawrence Woolhouse. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Business Data Science, Tushar Naquaid and Amar Nath Pandey. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Economics and the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, Cormac Joseph Lynch, Kit Patrick Murray Pyle. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Economics, Shannon Nicole Minahan, Simon John Pask, and India Avril Elise Power. Jack Bayliss Weston, Kelvin Rory Wook, and Lachlan William Woon. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Finance and the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, Samuel Regis Malloy. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Finance, Rhea Bijou, Benjamin Thomas Cooper, and Benjamin Harold John Frischini. Hamish Peter Kennett, Samuel James Stewart Kirk-Reeve, and Jana Maria Lerm. Sheldon Aaron Menezes, Joshua Christopher Patrick Morrison, and Cameron Davis Scott. James Peter Stanners, Jamie Oliver Teal, and Thomas James Wetherell. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Master of International Business, Arthava Pravanchandra Borsa and Shailza Malik. Surab Murlida Pashatava and Kripanshu Bhavesh Vora. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Marketing and the degree of Bachelor of Applied Science, Kira Catherine Ann Giide. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Marketing, Tane David Box, Lily Davies Bryden and Lucy Claire King. Ivana Monica Matheson, Benisha Sindhira, and Matthew Thomas Wilson. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Professional Accounting, Mitchell James Robert Wilson. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Sustainable Business, Jack Stewart Cranston, Joseph Duke Euphrat, and Benjamin David Lyons. Phoebe Margaret Sewell McCarthy and Anurag Shankar. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Tourism, Wenjing Huang, Yu Ran Li, and Xu Mei Liu. Ling Hao Luo and Xuan Ting Xu. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the award of the Postgraduate Diploma in Commerce, Parth Juneja. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the award of the Diploma for Graduates, Henry James Hawke and Ava Ursula Twardowska.
The University of Otago has a long and proud tradition of teaching music, and the School of Performing Arts provides much to the intellectual and cultural life of the city. Today's performers, Scott Bizet, a baritone, and soprano Rhiannon Cooper, are master's students in classical voice and have both appeared in many productions in the city and in the University Concert Series. They are accompanied by Terence Dennis. Professor Dennis is the Blair Professor of Music at the University of Otago. He has long been regarded as one of the country's most noted musicians. Professor Dennis has accompanied Dame Kiri Te Kānoa in over 50 concerts held throughout the world. Today, they performed the duet All I Ask of You from Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera. It is with great pleasure that I invite them to perform.
Of darkness, forget these wide-eyed fears. I'm here with you, beside you, to guard you and to guide you. Let me be your freedom, let daylight dry your tears. I'm here with you, beside you, to guard you and to guide you. Let me be your shelter, let me be your light. You're safe, no one will find you, your fears are far behind you.
All I want is freedom, a world with no more night, and you always beside me, to hold me and to guide me.
Then say you'll share with me one love, one lifetime. Let me lead you from your solitude. Share each day with me, each night, each morning. Anywhere you go, let me go too. Christine, that's all I ask of you.
You share with me one love, one lifetime. Say the word and I will follow you.
Share each day with me, each night, each morning.
Thank you for that splendid performance. Today's graduation speaker is James Hyam, Professor of Sustainable Tourism at the University of Otago Business School. Professor Hyam graduated from the University of Otago with a PhD in human geography. His research interests focus primarily on tourism and sustainable development, with a particular interest in tourism and climate change. His international research collaborations focus on tourism decarbonisation, mitigating aviation emissions, and market optimisation analyses. His recent research has assisted the Parliamentary Commissioner for the Environment to address the impacts of tourism in New Zealand. Professor Hyam has held visiting fellowships at leading universities in Canada, Norway, Australia, and Japan. He is a co-editor of the Journal of Sustainable Tourism and has been the co-director of the annual Otago Tourism Policy School for the last 3 years. Last month, he presented to MPs in Parliament on the post-COVID tourism reset as part of the Royal Society Te Aparangi Speakers Science Forum. He is a regular contributor to public discussions via Radio New Zealand, and his articles in The Conversation have been read over 156,000 times. It gives me great pleasure to invite Professor Hyam to deliver this afternoon's graduation address.
Thank you, Chancellor. Kia ora koutou, tēnā koutou e noho nei, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou. Congratulations, graduates, on all of your wonderful achievements. And congratulations to whānau and friends who are celebrating with you today, either here in person or from afar. A special shout out to those who have overcome adversity to be here today. You know who you are. Those who are the first in your family to graduate with a university degree, and to our PhD graduates who have received the university's highest degree today, and to my wife Linda and eldest daughter Ali. Graduates, you are now part of only 6.7% of the population of the world who have a university education. That figure, 6.7%, has an interesting tourism parallel that is very important to the future of the industry in Aotearoa. Since the late 1970s, the global airline industry has successfully recruited 100 million frequent flyers. Yet it is estimated that only 6 or 7% of the global human population has ever flown in an aeroplane. Most of the growth in global tourism in recent decades has been driven by increasing air travel demand in the most wealthy societies. The uneven distribution of air travel consumption also arises within those societies. In the US and the UK, for example, 70% of all flights are consumed by only 15% of the population. In a world threatened by climate change, the injustices of air travel have become glaring. Those who fly a lot contribute disproportionately to climate change, which most impacts the most vulnerable who never fly. Flight shame should therefore come as no surprise. Something has to change, and tourism destinations will be challenged to respond. Of course, this was all prior to the COVID pandemic, and we know that COVID has changed everything. You are the COVID generation of graduates. Well done. You've had to be very adaptable. In fact, COVID has forced upon us change that, in many cases, we knew was necessary and overdue. So why did we wait for a crisis? My first word of encouragement is to be an agent of positive change every day. Use your education to challenge the status quo. Don't wait for a crisis. It's hard to talk about tourism to this audience at this time. Prior to COVID, graduation was a point in time when many students headed off overseas to take on the world. By denying us all, the pandemic has reminded us just how important travel and tourism is to us. It's in our DNA, quite literally. Unfortunately, tourism can be a destructive force. We have probably all seen tourism at its worst in different places, but tourism can also be a very powerful, positive force. It allows us to seek out distant horizons. Tourism at its best is about connecting with people and place, allowing us to develop deep connections and understandings. In 1989, Linda and I graduated and headed off on an OE. After working in the UK through the summer of 1990, we headed off with our backpacks to explore the continent, where we eventually made our way to Chanakale and then across the Straits to Gallipoli. It is really difficult to imagine what the Anzacs faced on the morning of the 25th of April 1915 until you've stood on the beach at Anzac Cove. We scrambled up through the gullies and the trenches, and we stood on the ridge at Chunuk Bair, where we could see the Dardanelles in the far distance. When we walked in the Hill 60 and Lone Pine cemeteries, it soon dawned on us that many of the ages engraved on the headstones were our age, 22 years. Many were younger. To this day, particularly on Anzac Day, those experiences remind us to count our blessings. So my second word of advice is to count your blessings every day. 12 years later, in 2002, I visited Antarctica to observe tourism operations in the Ross Sea region. I'd read all about the age of exploration and was familiar with the competing accounts of Scott's fateful polar expedition of 1910 to 1912. I'd been convinced by Roland Huntford's book, The Last Place on Earth, which portrays Scott as incompetent when compared unfairly in many ways to his Norwegian polar counterparts. When I visited Scott's hut at Cape Evans, which is full of incredible artefacts left there over a century ago, I was transported back in time. I can remember being alone in the hut and half expecting a figure from the past to open the hut door and walk back in at any moment. But the real eye-opener for me was when we flew up to the polar plateau. From a tiny speck of a helicopter, I looked down on the vast glaciers below. Bear in mind that the Beardmore Glacier is 200 kilometres long, a labyrinth of yawning, bottomless crevasses. I tried to imagine anyone trying to haul sledges up that mighty glacier in such challenging conditions. It was both awesomely beautiful and awesomely intimidating. That forced me to reconsider what I'd read, and I gained a whole new respect for all of those early Antarctic explorers. That experience reminds me to never rush to judgment. So thirdly, formulate your own views and reach your own conclusions, but be cautious in your judgments until you are confident that you are well informed. Today, you are graduating with more than a degree because of the certain qualities that make Otago graduates unique. Otago graduates are products of a university town with a campus that's the envy of many universities around the world, residential colleges and beautiful architecture, but you're also the product of the so-called Otago experience. In the final year of her geography degree, my daughter completed a really interesting group research project that addressed this question. Do Otago undergraduate students still identify with the scarfy culture? 97% of the students they surveyed said that they absolutely did. To students themselves, that meant having fun, enjoying yourselves together, named flats, the hour of power, cold flats, being constantly cold, 2-minute noodles, probably cold, the zoo, Castle Street, helping each other and making friends. These are aspects of the student experience that are absolutely unique to Otago. For me, the two last of these points strike a particular chord. I've worked at Otago with many students who have gone on to impressive careers. Some have, years later, recounted little things that I did to help them, things that I had long forgotten, insignificant things, things that cost me absolutely nothing other than perhaps a few minutes of my day. I can say in all honesty, hand on heart, that the highlights of my career at Otago have been celebrating the successes of students who I worked with and may have helped a little bit along the way. It is a little-known fact that Otago students offer help and contribute enormously to the community while living and studying in Dunedin. I didn't realise that Otago is the only university in New Zealand where students organise a relay for life. Last month, Student Relay raised close to $110,000. That is phenomenal. After the event, it emerged that one student ran over 100 kilometres during the relay. The Cancer Society thanked him with a $40 supermarket voucher and a voucher for a massage. No doubt he deserved that after running 100 Ks. He immediately donated the vouchers to a person at Daffodil House who was receiving cancer treatment. So fourthly, keep helping others. The help that you offer will never be forgotten. Help given is often repaid many times over in ways that you would never expect. That has certainly been my experience. Otago has enriched my life in countless ways, but I think the thing I most value is the lifelong friendships that I made here as a student. A study from the Warwick Business School published in 2008 found that the benefit of having a good friend from a happiness and life satisfaction perspective is equivalent to an extra £85,000 in annual salary. That is an extraordinary figure, but it doesn't surprise me. I couldn't put a price on the friendships that I made as a student studying at Otago. So finally, treasure the friends that you've made here. If you're as lucky as I have been, they will add many layers of richness to your life. For now, the world is at your feet. Ko te pai tāwhiti, whaia kia tata, ko te pai tata, whakamaua kia tina. Seek out distant horizons and cherish those that you attain. Enjoy the journey and congratulations once again. Kia ora.
Professor Haim, I sincerely thank you for your insightful and compelling graduation address this afternoon. The broad canvas of your address covered not only helpful and encouraging advice to our newest graduates, but also, informed by your own scholarship and research, the significant challenges confronting us in the 21st century. These require our graduates and our community of scholars to engage actively in addressing social, economic, environmental, and cultural issues which involve our shared humanity. You have also urged our graduates to endeavour to be agents of positive change on a daily basis and to challenge existing paradigms and attitudes while participating in civil society. I also extend our congratulations to your wife and daughter on their graduations today. I invite you to join with me once again in thanking Professor Haim for his outstanding graduation address. On behalf of the University Council, I wish to thank the Acting Vice-Chancellor, Professor Helen Nicholson, and our academic and professional staff at all of the university's campuses throughout New Zealand for their outstanding contribution to ensuring our students benefit from the emancipatory power of an excellent university education. Thank you also to our staff for their tireless work during the COVID-19 pandemic, ensuring that the university continues to maintain its teaching, research and outreach programs. The Council is very conscious of the empathetic and collegial way that all staff have supported our students and their colleagues during the alert levels. I invite you to join with me in expressing our appreciation to our extraordinary staff. To you who have graduated or received diplomas, I offer the congratulations of the university on your new status, and I welcome you to its full and permanent membership. I charge you by the common bond that now unites us, henceforth to cherish the good name and reputation of the university, and to strive for the advancement of knowledge and the extension of understanding. I trust that in your different vocations, your lives may be fruitful of good, to yourselves, and to those among whom you live. On behalf of the University Council, I thank you all for sharing in this celebration, particularly those of you who have travelled long distances to be here. I wish you a safe journey home. The academic anthem, Gaudiamus, will now be sung. The words are printed inside the back cover of the graduation booklet. Please stand for the anthem and remain standing as the academic procession retires. Kia ora tātou.